Phil Gunson is with the International Crisis Group, an expert on Venezuela, and he says the situation is complicated, but signals from the White House could indicate some progress.
Donald Trump earlier today, in relation to that cancellation of the second wave of strikes, also mentioned the release of political prisoners yesterday, celebrating it as a major development. But so far, we've only seen a handful of prisoners released. And I think what we're really seeing is an attempt by the government here to determine what it can do, what's the least it has to do, if you like, in order to avoid retaliation by the United States. So there's a kind of a dance going on. Right now, as we speak, there are U.S. officials from the Venezuela Affairs Unit in Bogota, a neighboring Colombia, here in Caracas, apparently looking at the possibility of reopening the embassy. So everything is moving very fast, but in a rather confusing way.
Yeah, and there's so much criticism among Democratic lawmakers in Congress. We've seen criticism around the world. Democratic lawmakers say this really wasn't about it wasn't about drug trafficking or protecting national interests for the United States, or really even about democracy, since Maduro's government essentially is still there without Maduro. So at the end of the day, Phil, was this about oil and money?
I really don't think it was all about oil and money. I mean, of course, the way Donald Trump is framing it, and especially has been framing it since the attack took place a week ago, it gives the impression that it was simply an oil grab. But I think in the reality of the present day economic situation, particularly with regard to the oil industry, is that the US and the world can do without Venezuelan oil. It's nice to have it, and it certainly would be nice to have it redeveloped for the benefit of Venezuelan people in particular. But there's a lot of other things going on. It does have to do partly with drug trafficking, but I think most of all it has to do with the US reasserting hegemony, control over the region. And it's a message that is being received of course, primarily in regional capitals, and they have to adjust and see, how this new relationship is going to work out.
Interesting, fascinating conversation. Phil Gunson, thank you very much.